Greetings, friends. My name is Pavel Shtelmach, and now we'll unveil the top news of recent days. Another Russian refinery was damaged today as a result of an attack by an unknown drone in the city of Nizhnekamsk, which is 1,200 kilometers from Ukraine. A drone hit an oil primary processing plant, after which a fire broke out there. The capacity of this installation was 8 million tons of oil, which is 2.6% of the total annual refining of Russian Federation per year. In addition, this plant is in top 5 largest refineries of the Russian Federation. And another attack of unknown drones was on a complex of hostels and a factory built for employees at Tatarstan enterprises in Yelabuga. In the summer of 2023, it was reported that several hundred students of the domestic college in Tatarstan were involved in the making of Iranian Shahed drones. And according to American intelligence, the factory for the production of drones was built precisely in this special economic zone. In general, Yelabuga is located 1,500 kilometers from the border with Ukraine, so it is still too early to say that these were Ukrainian drones, especially since Russian journalists have already found the culprits themselves, the Kazakhs. After all, the border with Kazakhstan is only 500 kilometers away. Ukrainians couldn't make such a drone so it could hit any European point of Russia, or could they? Especially since recently the Minister of Digital Transformation of Ukraine, Mikhailo Fedorov, stated that the defense forces now have drones that can fly more than 1,000 kilometers. And the fact that today the damaged enterprises that are so far from us means that Russia has to disperse its air defense systems, which even more is good news for us. After all, the more air defense systems in the deep rear, the less they are on the front line. We don't know who made all these strikes on Russian oil refineries yet, but all of them significantly reduced Moscow's capabilities. That is why a ban on the export of gasoline was introduced from March 1st in order to stabilize prices on the domestic market. According to British intelligence, the embargo will reduce pressure on suppliers and allow Russia to repair factories. However, repairs will take longer than usual, as Western sanctions prevent the import of some necessary components. Ukraine marks the liberation of the north of Ukraine after the losing battle near Moshchun, Hostomel, Chernihiv, Brovary, Ohtyrka, Trostyanets, Sumy, and the E40 highway. Russian army left the north of Ukraine. After a few days, the facts of mass war crimes of the occupiers against the civilian population became known. Irpin, Borodyanka, Motyzhin have become gloomy symbols of terrible Russian atrocities. Despite attempts to cover up traces and disinform the global community, Russian crimes were documented and became widely known. Russia has demonstrated that it is waging a genocidal war against the Ukrainians. Just in Bucha, near Kyiv, which was in occupation for 27 days, more than 1.4 thousand deaths, including 37 children. More than 135 people were found in mass graves and torture chambers. All the Russian war crimes are also a symbol of the atrocities of the occupying country's army. And further liberation of the Ukrainian territories in Kharkiv, Donetsk and Kherson regions was accompanied by the discovery of new evidence of war crimes of the occupiers. The shock after seeing Russian atrocities finally convinced Ukraine's partners to start delivering powerful modern weapons to us. And now, in order to liberate even more territory, we need even more weapons.
2 years have already passed since our warriors, all our people, drove the Russian occupiers out. Borodyanka, Bucha, Irpin, Hostomel, Moshchun were places of battle, places where Ukrainians fought for their country, for their lives, for their homes free from evil. We honor the strength of everyone who withstood then, who is fighting now, who is working and who will definitely bring freedom to our entire land, to every city and village of Ukraine that Russia wants to appropriate, but which it will have to give back to Ukrainians. Our people, our spirit, our strength will ensure this. Ukrainians build, not destroy. They save lives and do not pry into the lives of others instably, as Moscow does.
Ukraine will win at the front. Ukraine will win in reconstruction. We will win in restoring justice. We will not leave a single trace of Russia on our land, and we will not leave any enemy unpunished either. Austrian Chancellor Karl Nehammer convened the National Security Council after the detention of an ex-employee of the Federal Office for the Protection of Constitution and the Fight Against Terrorism, Register Ott, reports Der Standard. A meeting of the Security Council is scheduled for April 9th. Nehammer expressed the need to protect Austria from potential threats posed by Russian espionage networks and to prevent their infiltration of political parties and networks. Register Ott is suspected of transferring to the Russian FSB data from the phones of the former Russian Interior Minister Michael Klobmüller, Federal Police Director Michael Takaks, and head of the Federal Office for Immigration and Asylum Gernot Meyer. And this is not the first spy scandal in Europe tied to Russia. In a joint investigation by the German magazine Der Spiegel and the Slovak newspapers Denik N, journalists found out that Bundestag deputy from Alternative for Germany party and the candidate from this party in the elections to the European Parliament, Peter Bystron, received money from pro-Russian network of influence exposed by European special services. According to the journalists, the network, the center of which was the pro-Russian website Voice of Europe, transferred a total of several €100,000 in 6 EU countries, in particular in Germany, France, Poland, and in the Netherlands. Part of the money was transferred in cash during the meetings in Prague, and part with the help of cryptocurrency. Among the recipients of funds, Der Spiegel and Denik N names a deputy from the ultra-right Alternative for Germany, Peter Bystron. Journalists also draw attention to the fact that the Voice of Europe website published materials with another party representative, member of European Parliament, Maximilian Krah. In addition, Krah and Bystron have been acquainted for some time with the oligarch and best man of Vladimir Putin, Viktor Medvedchuk, who, according to the Czech intelligence services, is behind Voice of Europe in coordination with the Czech Republic. Poland is investigating attempts by pro-Russian forces to influence EU politicians. Poland's internal security agency conducted searches aimed at identifying Russian espionage. The Polish leadership states that the country is one of the main targets for Russian spies now. Warsaw accuses Russia and Belarus of trying to destabilize the situation in the country. The report in particular mentions the website voiceofeurope.eu, which publishes pro-Russian materials.
Our work and efforts are leading to other countries in Europe investigating the activities of pro-Russian spy networks and gradually coming to more serious conclusions. One of them was revealed by Poland today, for example. Actions in other countries will follow. These are sensitive matters. Surely you will understand that I cannot share too many details. But I want to emphasize one thing. The action we have taken in the last 2 days are the result of international cooperation which we started and which we are successfully coordinating. Petr Fiala, Prime Minister of the Czech Republic, on social network X.
Let me remind you that the day before, the Czech Republic added Voice of Europe, Medvedchuk and his associate propagandist Artem Marchevsky to the national sanctions list from it called participants in the influence campaign in the EU. According to the Czech Civilian Counter-Intelligence Service, the network worked with politicians in Poland, Hungary, Germany, France, Belgium and the Netherlands in an attempt to influence elections to the European Parliament. By the way, do you remember how the Russians tried to assure the world that Ukraine suppresses freedom of speech when the Ukrainian National Security and Defense Council banned the operation of channels owned by Viktor Medvedchuk? And it turns out that he was a Russian agent who not only distributed money in Europe, but also spread Russian propaganda in Ukraine and Europe. And by the way, the same story is now being repeated with the Russian Church. The Kremlin is trying to convince everyone that religion is being oppressed in Ukraine, but it is not so. We are fighting Russian agents, who this time wore church robes. As a religion, Ukraine is currently celebrating Easter together with the rest of the free world. And last week, the president, together with Muslim community, held an iftar before the holy month of Ramadan. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated, comment, like and subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support is that really matters. Goodbye.